As many of you know, Tim Tebow recently worked out for major league teams interested in seeing if he could actually play baseball. You know this because if Tim Tebow does anything on a field, it's somehow newsworthy. Look, I could get into a few things about his prospects as a baseball player. I think his hands are too far back and his head moves too much. But baseball is a very tough sport. Ask former minor leaguers who played football, Chris Wenke, Drew Henson, and Josh Booty. Football is also a bitch too. Ask Chris Wenke, Drew Henson, Josh Booty, and Tim Tebow. Speaking of Tebow, I think he has a ton of athleticism. So here are 5 sports he could legitimately play. Number 1, rugby. First off, have you ever seen a rugby player not flex out of their shirt so hard it looks like their biceps might literally explode if you stared at them too long? That's where Tebow fits in here. He looks like a rugby player. Plus, he's used to awkwardly throwing oblong-shaped balls, and wham, he could be a legit threat on the rugby pitch. Think of his speed and elusiveness. However, I don't know if he is outright crazy enough to play rugby, because those dudes are freaking crazier than David Hasselhoff drunk and filming himself. Also, would you not pay to see Tebow kirk out in crazy-ass haka like this? Number 2, CrossFit. Okay, not 100% sure if this is an actual sport, but I'm pretty sure Tim Tebow would be great at jumping on top of stacked weights and making you feel inferior because you didn't lift a cast iron cannonball this morning at 5 a.m. I mean, why not take an activity that tries to break your body in half and make it a sport, and then put the most polarizing figure in sports right at the center of it to attract a new set of fans who totally want to tell you how wrong your current workout routine is. I think it would be great because clearly people just love watching Tim Tebow work out, so let's just pay him to do that and inspire people not to be so fat. Number 3, bobsled. This one is not a joke. Tim Tebow would be excellent at this. He could join fellow former NFL players Willie Gault and Herschel Walker in wearing a giant spandex onesie, sprinting his ass off for 40 feet, and then jumping into an aerodynamic death tube on rails. Okay, on a side, once you complete the 4-second sprint and jump into the giant coffin, you then huddle up next to 3 other dudes sack to crack to keep warm and hope the driver doesn't kill you. So maybe Timmy isn't into that kind of thing. I'm not sure who is, but it's something he would be excellent at. Because you know he's great at running fast, feeling pressure, getting compressed, and then praying. Number 4, MMA. I'm probably going to get some pushback for this, but Timothy Richard could do it. Despite his lack of a goatee, baldness, and a tap-out shirt on his back, Tim has the athleticism to get into the octagonal square and knock a few fools out. Plus, with his speed, he could run from opponents like Conor ran from Nate Diaz in their last fight. Hey-oh, sick burn. Look, if they're going to give CM Punk a contract to fight, okay, no. The UFC wants to attract more fans, and longtime fans like myself had to already put up with a Walmart crowd jumping in with us so that the sport could go mainstream. What's a few more million fans that say, stand them up, why are they hugging? That was some cool ninjutsu. 6 months training at my local UFC gym, and I can do that. I doubt Tim Tebow would want his name attached to MMA, but I think he'd be good at it. Number 5, NASCAR. Whoa, before you say NASCAR isn't a sport, let me tell you something. I don't really care. Could you imagine Tim Tebow in NASCAR for just a second? It's like the solution to everything. He would have more supporters for him in one place on a weekend than he ever did when he was in Gainesville. And think of the sponsors for his ride. I have no idea his skills as a driver, but he's never had a DUI or been in an accident, so I'm sure that qualifies him to drive in NASCAR. Okay, a couple side things. So in NASCAR, the cars don't have brake lights and you're driving 200 miles an hour and there are no turn signals, etc., etc. So yeah, maybe Jesus taking the wheel isn't a bad idea. One thing I don't get is when you go to a race, the fans that put up their hands with the number of the car they are rooting for as that car passes. Newsflash, the driver can't see your little digits as he passes by. I hope to God he's watching the other cars and not scanning the crowd for hot chicks that like him. And yes, I've been to plenty of NASCAR races.
To be, brother. Yeah.
Back to Timmy. This seems perfect for him. He would be famous and in front of a loyal fan base who wants to see him rise to the top. Come on, Timmy. Suit up. In conclusion, I think Tim Tebow is such an interesting case of a guy who was blessed with just enough talent in some things, but not all the way. I wish him luck in his baseball endeavor, which I think will be a tough road to hoe because of this thing called the curveball. Honestly, I think if Tim had a reality show where they simply filmed him going to hospitals and making a sick kid's day, I would watch that all day. Whatever side you fall on the Tim Tebow debate, don't question his intentions or his character. He's a good guy. When have you ever heard a story of Tim Tebow acting like a major jerk to a fan or even a hater? So there you have it. Leave a comment below on what sport you think Mr. Polarizing should play. And as always, like, share, and subscribe.